Okay, month 12. You've got this giant packet this month, okay? Do not panic. We're just going to do the autumn corners for month 12 and then borders. Okay, so I'm with you all the way. I know this seems like a lot, but we're going to do autumn corners first, one step at a time, and then get our borders done. But we are very, very, very close. This, of course, is the last component until we put pretty much the whole inside of your quilt together. Okay, so let's get to it. Breathe. That was a big packet. Breathe. It's all good. We're going to start with half square triangles. So there are two different sizes that we're going to make, 4.5 and 2.5. Your 4.5 inch half square triangles are going to be made with fabric 10 and fabric 4. You're going to have 5-inch squares to make large half square triangles. You're going to mark the center on the diagonal, so 1/4 inch apart, cut those in half, iron them open, and then you're going to press towards the dark before trimming to 4.5 by 4.5. Okay, and you are going to end up with 8 of these total. You're going to make the smaller half square triangle. This is with fabric 8 and fabric 4. You're going to start with 3.25 by 3.25. Construct the same way. Mark the center, so 1/4 inch on either side. Cut them in half. These you're going to square to 2.5 by 2.5. Okay, and you are going to have 8 of these as well. The next one we're going to do is a 4-patch. We love the 4-patch. I love the 4-patch. Let's talk about the 4-patch a little. Okay, we're going to start with 2.5 inches by 21 or 22. And we're going to sew them together on the length of the fabric with a good 1/4 inch seam, and you're going to press towards the dark. Okay? From there, you're going to take these and you're going to cut them up into 2.5 inch by 2.5 inch segments. And when you get those segments, they are going to be put together into 4 patches. And what's nice is if you have pressed all to the dark, that center seam is going to just slide right in together and butt when you sew. So you're going to have a very nice center of this 4-patch, and you should be making 4 of these. So you have your long piece, you're cutting 8 sections, and you're going to end up with 4 4-patches. Okay, now we're going to do flip and sew rectangles. You've done the flip and sew. These start as 4.5 inches and then 2.5 inches. You're going to lay the square on top of the rectangle, and you are going to mark. Actually, we should do these. So now you can really see their opposites. And you're going to mark from corner to corner. You're going to sew on that line, trim the edge off, and flip out. So, like I said, these are opposites. You are going to make, let's see, 8 of each. 8, 8, 8, 8. These are with fabric number 12 and fabric number 4. These are with fabric number 2 and fabric number 4. Okay? You're also going to make a set of flip and sew rectangles that are fabric 4 and fabric 8. 4 and 8. These are not mirror image. You're just going to make 8 of these. Okay. The reason they're opposites is we're going to be making these units. You'll have 4 of these units with the green on one side and the cream on the other, and then 4 opposite. The points are going to be at the top. Okay? Now, with our last set of flip and sew, we're going to take that we're going to take the half square triangle that we put together earlier, the tiny one, and we're going to sew them into a cat's cradle. So a cat's cradle is the green on one side and this on the other. So you're going to take your half square triangle, sew the angle, the orange triangle to the yellow on this angle, and then you're going to sew these together. Okay, you are going to be making 8 of these as well. So what happens is these actually line up very nicely into the corner. Now this one is not perfect. This one is a little better, but nobody is going to see if this little corner is off. Don't worry about it. You have a square, 2 little triangles, and a large triangle on the other side. That's a cat's cradle block. Okay? So we are going to be putting together 4 of these blocks. You're going to start by putting, your 4 patch in the middle. And the reason I said okay like that is you have to be careful which way you orient your orange and yellow squares in this block. Okay, so once you have your orange and yellow squares, you're going to take your mirror image blocks and you are going to put the greens next to the yellows. That's why they're mirror image. You see the 2 greens here next to the yellow? Is that right? I have the wrong block. I have the wrong block. 2 greens next to the yellow. Ah, my blocks weren't mirror image. See? This is a little tricky block to orient. Meaning, I also had to take this apart. I put it together, I was going along, and I'm like, wait, this isn't right. So, this is one of those, like I said, you set up before you go, and you're much happier. Your large half square triangles go on either side, opposite sides. And then your cat's cradle blocks go in the corner. Okay? So, lay out, you have all your components, lay out a block. So your hints here are the greens touch a yellow, the greens are touching a yellow. The yellow makes 4 lines in 4 squares in a row. Okay, so I'll be honest, I had this oriented this way when I was sewing together, and I'm like, whoa, something's wrong. Okay, so your 4 yellows orient the same way. Your greens are all touching a yellow. And this is the completed block. Let me move these. You will be making 4 of these. These are the 4 corners of your quilt. Now, we're going to go on in just a second up on the board and we'll show you, because you're looking at your instructions, and yes, it is time to put all the long rows together before we get to borders. Okay? Thanks for joining us. We'll see you for borders.